Why don't you go ahead and be seated? We have a really special guest who's going to lead the meditation and do the talk tonight. This is Venerable Bhante Sankicca, and he is from Michigan, from Great Lakes Buddhist Vihara. And I think that's Bhante Sujata's temple where he was before he came to Woodstock. So these are all like our brother monks. And Bhante Sankicca I've known since I first came to Blue Lotus. And he's now the acting abbot at Great Lakes Buddhist Vihara. And Bhante Mudita, who many of you have met, is the acting abbot. But he's like Bhante Sujata, he's gone a lot. So they have 4 monks there now, and they just bought a church. They've had a house and a large group, but now they've bought a church, and so they're going to begin doing the transformation there, like probably, not like this one. I don't know what it'll be like, but it'll be a busy time for them and an active time. But he's a wonderful, just from what I know of him, he is a wonderful monk. And it's just a great honor to have him here. So I hope you enjoy his speech and his talk, and you may have time for some questions. Thank you, Bhante.
All right. Let's begin our meditation practice now. Maintaining the proper posture with upright body and gently closed eyes. Understanding your posture, the way you are seated. Feel the presence of yourself in this peaceful atmosphere. Feel the silence, the peacefulness around you. Appreciating your spiritual practice, your dharma practice. Being very happy about this very moment, as this practice is one of the most important things in your life, as this is one of the best gifts you can give to yourself. That is to be with yourself, with your body and mind, to relax your body and calm the mind, to understand yourself better. So feel this appreciative joy, these happy feelings in yourself, even letting these positive energies illuminate your inner experience. Maintaining a happy mood even a slight, compassionate smile in your face. And remember, whenever you smile from your own heart, you generate lots of positive energies. And taking a few deep inhalations and exhalations, some long, mindful, gentle breaths, releasing any tension and negative energies from your body. Withdrawing your attention from the external world, you may bring your total attention to your psychophysical entity, your inner experience. So take a few deep breaths, filling your entire lungs, experiencing each breath throughout the body. Perhaps as you can hear them. In order to relax your physical body, you may spend some time on focusing on your physical body. To see how you feel it at this moment. If it is relaxed, if it is peaceful, or if it is even restless. As you are maintaining a very still and a relaxed posture, take a few moments to observe the beautiful stillness in your posture, limiting your mind just to your psychophysical entity. Even moving your attention around your physical body. Feel the stillness, feel the calmness in your body. Without thinking, just observing as it is. And see if you can let go of all the thoughts, memories and mental images from the mind, and gently allow yourself to be here and now in the present moment. without any extra effort, just by letting it be, just by letting it be. You may even take a few moments to scan through your body, starting from the top of the head, slowly and gently down to the tips of the toes, gently touching each and every single part of the body with the mind, observing even the subtle sensations and feelings through the deep stillness. Being very friendly to yourself and being very gentle to yourself. You are just listening to your body with an empty mind, feeling even the deep connectedness with yourself, with your body and mind. And now, with this relaxed body and calm mind, whenever you feel comfortable, bringing your total attention to the front of the face, around the nostrils area, Understanding the breathing process as you breathe in and out through the nostrils. You may observe each and every single incoming and outgoing breath mindfully. When you breathe in, simply be aware that you are breathing in. When you breathe out, simply be aware that you are breathing out. And see for how long you can be just with the present breath without getting distracted. Always letting the natural breathing process take place. You are just observing the natural breath with present moment, silent awareness. This is not a breathing exercise, but this is an exercise of being mindful. So always try to keep your mind in the present moment with the help of natural breathing process. Letting go of the past, letting go of the future with each breath. simply understanding how your body and mind become free from tension, anxieties and other negativities as you maintain this present moment, silent awareness on each breath. Even appreciating and acknowledging your direct responsibility in maintaining these positive states of being. We all have the potential to discipline ourselves, control ourselves, and guide us in the right direction. So enjoying this spiritual happiness in this moment, relaxing your body and calming the mind with each breath. Now, as we experience this inner peace and tranquility, this spiritual harmony, these positive states of being, let's share now all these positive feelings with all living beings in the world, in the universe, radiating your loving, compassionate thoughts towards all living beings in all directions, near or distant, seen, unseen, smaller or mighty, all beings in the water, in the air, on the earth, all beings who are suffering from pain, hunger and diseases, all beings who are in peace and happiness, all beings who are dying at this very moment, those who are being born to this world at this very moment. Letting your love go to all beings without any discrimination, broadening your heart, broadening your mind, feeling the deep sense of connectedness with all beings, wishing them, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings be relaxed, may all beings be peaceful, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings be relaxed, may all beings be peaceful. Okay, now turning back to yourself, taking a few deep, mindful, gentle breaths, refreshing your body and mind, understanding your posture, let's wish that this spiritual practice, this mindfulness practice, be there for ourselves to live in peace and harmony, to face and overcome all the negativities, difficulties and problems in our everyday life, to enjoy our life every single moment peacefully and meaningfully, eventually to be a blessing to ourselves and to be a blessing to all beings in the world. May there be enough courage, determination, mindfulness, wisdom and friendship to keep up with this noble spiritual practice. You may open your eyes. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa buddham saranam gacchami dhammam saranam gacchami sangham saranam gacchami dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami tatiyampi buddham saranam gacchami tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchami chavata sankhara uppada vaya dhammino uppajjitva nirunjanti te samvopasamo sukho se satta avirahuntu sabbe satta Nambya-panjahuntu sabbe satta anigha-huntu sabbe satta sukhitanam pariharantu Mangama Manosintha Manomaya Manasache Paduttena Bhasativa Karotiva Tathonam dukkha manveti cakkang vahato padang manopumbang gemadhamma manusiddha manomaya manasace pasannena भासति वा करोति वा ततोऽनं सुखमन्वेति छायाव अनपायिनी. Okay, I'm very happy to see you all. I hope you had a good meditation, a happy meditation. So in this evening, briefly I like to speak a few words about how to appreciate the negativities in our life. I know it sounds very different, and it's not the usual way, because we all want to be happy always. We always look for the beautiful things, happy moments in our life, and after all, we all want to be perfect, right? So we don't want to have any negativity, or even suffering, pain, or anything like that. But we know that that's not the way how things happen, right? That's not the way how things happen in our life, in the world. So these things are inevitable. When we talk about this topic, actually, it is not that we want to have these negativities in our life, right? We don't appreciate them, and we don't like to see any negativities in our life, around us, in the world, in society, or anywhere. That's not the purpose of this brief dharma talk. But when these negative conditions happen to our life inevitably, that we don't have any control sometimes, how we can simply appreciate them? When you think about what happens to people, what happens to us when we go through these negativities. So you may have your own experience, your own interpretations, how you look at them. What happens to many people when they go through these negativities? Most of the time, they hate them. Sometimes these negative conditions take them over, especially when they go through these negativities. Naturally they become very emotional, powerfully emotional. So then sometimes for some people they don't know how to come out of these sorrowful, painful states, especially the mental states, right? So it is not that these negative incidents, negative experiences actually giving them this pain, When I deeply think about that, it is not the negative experience itself, but the resistance that we create upon them, how they look at them, their attitude actually mostly disturbing them, First of all, we all have the intention or the expectation that these negative things should never happen to me, should never come to me, right? But when these things happen to us, we really get frustrated, we get disturbed, distracted by them. So many other negative conditions, especially these negative emotions, are created within ourselves. So then eventually, in front of these negative conditions, we make the worst out of these conditions. So we suffer a lot, So therefore, it is very appropriate, very important for us to learn how to change that negative attitude towards the negativities. Only that way we can transform ourselves. Even we can look at these negative conditions as beneficial conditions for us. How to get the best use of these moments. When you think about highly spiritual people in the world, in this true human history, even today, in any area, in the spiritual world, in the normal world, society, highly successful people even, they have gone through a lot of negativities, problems, suffering in their life. So our best example is the Buddha, the life of the Buddha. When you study, when you learn about the Buddha's life, this is how even the Buddha started his journey, right? So what are the most important questions, problems he had in his mind when he left the palace in order to become a spiritual person as a truth seeker, right? So they were the same problem that we are facing today as human beings, right? Very practical, as some inevitable conditions that we all are going to face in our life. These experiences were like getting old, getting sick, and eventually we all are going to die. So these are the questions actually Prince Siddhartha had when he left his palace. So that thinking actually gave us a Buddha. That's how he started his spiritual journey. So if there were no such negativities, there wouldn't be any higher spiritual attainment or a Buddha, special realization. So it has been most commonly the same case for many people, highly spiritual people. Even when you think about the scientists, most of them had gone through a lot of negativities, suffering in life. Many of them did not have even proper education. When you learn about them, these life stories, but they are the ones who changed the human history, and still we are benefiting from these things. So, therefore, it is very important that we also look at these negativities in our life in a different way. Even though it is the normal nature to suffer and say no, reject, detach ourselves from these negativities, whenever these inevitable negative experiences, conditions happen to us, we need to look at ourselves, how we face them, how we handle them, how we try to get rid of them, even how we interact with them collectively, which means how our attitude can affect other people, the society, our relationship, the world, sometimes, So therefore, when you ask yourself, when you simply ask yourself, if you have any skill today, if you have any developed qualities in your life, what do you think? Have they been cultivated in yourself because of the positive things or beautiful things in your life? According to my opinion and observation, even according to my personal experience, it is mostly these negative conditions in our life that make us so strong, so skillful, to be able to cultivate these very essential, very important human, spiritual qualities in our life. If there were no these negativities, I don't think we can develop these positive, skillful qualities in our life. So when you look at these negativities in that perspective, whenever these conditions are inevitable in our life, that we don't have any control, instead of just being controlled by these negative conditions and go through a lot of suffering and negativities, we can change them into a positive aspect. Even supportive conditions for us, for our awakening, for our development, So that way, we become able to appreciate them even. As we cannot say no to them, we kind of change our attitude to look at these negativities as very essential, beneficial conditions in our life. So that way, we can let go of that unnecessary resistance when these negativities come to ourselves. It doesn't mean that we should try to eliminate these negative conditions, like when you get sick, you should take medicine, right? Of course, for sure, we need to do that. But for many people, it is not the sickness that brings the suffering and anxiety. For many people, it is the question actually, why me? Why it comes to me, why it happened to me at this time even. This kind of thinking actually, that negative attitude, how they interact with them is the most disturbing thing for them. In my life experience also, when so many negative things happen in my family back in Sri Lanka, when my father was diagnosed with the throat cancer, and at the same time my mother having auto accident. And one of my nephew, when he was very young, very little, going through a seizure at home. So I was there at the same time. So my family members were totally devastated by all these things all together. So I could see that if I were not there, they wouldn't have been able to handle that situation. So even in their mind, their question also was, why is it happening? Why is it happening this way? Why us? So then I understood the situation. I spoke to my family members. That is not the question. We should see how to face these situations and how to handle it. How to overcome these problems effectively and mindfully. So you can see the question for many people when these negativities happen to them, they think that, it's my bad luck. Maybe, I am a negative person, They take it so personally, and being so selfish, sometimes they make a big deal out of that. These negativities can be really devastating, when it happens to many people. When people go through so much powerful emotions, sometimes they cannot handle that. And that's where even some people take their life, because they think that it's very negative for them to these things to happen to them. They take it personally, and it really disturbs their self-value, self-appreciation. So they take it really wrong. But if we can simply change our attitude, just by changing the attitude, how to look at these negativities positively, it would be a huge transformation for us. For an instance, when even during today practice, when there was cell phone going off, right? So it was a very good moment for me to concentrate. It was a great experience for me to look at myself. What is my attitude towards that? What is my reaction to it? That was a wonderful experience. But what would be the normal attitude of a person? Huh? Wow. So it can be really disturbing for many people, right? Because they think that, wow, this should never happen in a meditation hall. That's how we think, right? But that's not how things happen, right? That's right in this sitting practice. But when you think about our everyday life, we cannot expect things that way. It's totally different when things happen to ourselves without expectation, without any clue. That's how things happen to us, right? But we have to be ready to accept them. We cannot say no, right? We have to be prepared to embrace them. So just by changing our attitude, we can be very friendly with them, So if I were able to say, that's okay, that's beautiful even. See, just by changing your perspective, your attitude, it can completely change the environment, your environment. So you can understand how that attitude can change our life a lot, when things happen in our relationships, maybe in society, in the world. People get really disturbed by these things, How can you learn about the patience without an angry person in your life, right? So this is how we learn things. So when you look at your life, when you observe so many things, these negative conditions happening in your life, they are always trying to teach you something. If you are not sensitive to them, if you are not mindful to them, you never learn anything from them, you know. So this is the marvel of this mindfulness practice, the meditation practice. You know, we become very mindfully sensitive to these things. So that these incidents, these experiences can give us so much insight, a deeper realization, you know, to understand, realize the ultimate truth about this life and the world. That is the way, you know. So this is how eventually we learn to live in peace and harmony, you know, when things happen. So what do you think about it? Maybe you wouldn't agree with me, but that is something I really appreciate in my life. You may have experiences. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, when the phone went off, I left my phone at home. This is not my phone. My phone is at home, but I apparently didn't. And so I want to apologize
Right.
to everyone for that. However, I also want to thank you.
That's
for making me
okay.
see it in a
Right.
different way.
I
Instead of
know.
thinking,
Mhm.
oh, this is a negative experience
I know.
for me. I was very embarrassed.
Right.
You know, and
I knew
I
that.
appreciate you using that.
Well, that's a very important lesson, you know, something we all need to learn, especially in meditation. Because we all have a mindset, you know, in meditation. This is how it should be, the environment, even my mind, right? I don't want to have any thought in my mind, but that's not how it happens. So, how to acknowledge that, how to accept that is the biggest challenge for us, right? It's a very good learning experience.
So much better than a motorcycle riding by.
Uh-huh. Right. Actually, I remember one day, you know, when I was teaching a meditation class in Michigan, one day one lady was a little late. Actually, she got caught up in a huge traffic, you know, traffic on the road. So I could see that even after, during the guided meditation, even during the discussion, she wouldn't talk even. You know, she was so upset, depressed, like, you know, she was like almost crying, you know. I asked, I asked her, you know, what happened? What was wrong, you know? And she said, you know, in the traffic, somebody hung the horn and showed her a wrong finger. Bad finger. So she got really upset about it, you know. And even the finger wasn't the bad thing, the hunking was so depressing her, you know. But I understood, I had no clue what to say, but it came to my mind that, you know, like in Sri Lanka, we cannot drive without a horn. You know, I told I told her that, you know, when I am here, when I hear honking, I feel so happy. I feel so happy because I get to hear that, you know, because I'm so much conditioned to that, you know. Back in Sri Lanka, we always hear it on the road, so it makes me happy, you know. So when I told that, she completely changed. So there was a very interesting discussion afterwards, you know, just by changing the perspective, how you look at it, you can change your inner atmosphere, you know. So it's a very good lesson, you know. How we are responsible for what we are going through, you know. If you take it wrongly, you suffer, you know. Any questions or any comment? What do you think about that topic? Or did you ever think about it? that way. Yes?
So I had some kids who were talking about not taking things personal,
Mm-hmm.
how we respond to our environment, and I just realized that it's easier to believe that, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because my mind is so calm right now, and it gives me what's really
Mm-hmm.
understand that a lot more, because I feel like for a long time I've just been negatively responding to other people around me
Mm-hmm.
and taking things way too personal
Right.
and making it more complicated
Mm-hmm.
than it has to be.
Right.
So thank you, I appreciate that. I think that's what I do.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful, yeah.
You're literally just saying before you got here, you're having something else come on, bam, 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 and then why is it happening? So it's very ironic. It's coincidental that that happens
Okay.
on Father's Day. It's exactly
Right,
what
right.
you're saying.
It's all around us, right? It's always there. If you really become mindful, when you begin to see that, now since you know the topic, you will see that everywhere, and we make the mistake mostly, Okay, I think that will be enough for today. So thank you very much. All the blessings to you. Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.